Kev Baker Show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know by now, I am Kev Baker, and this is the Kev Baker Show. We're coming to you live on TFRlive.com. Want to give a big shout out to everyone over on the TFR website. It's standing room only over there in the chat room today, so I want to give a big thank you and a big shout out to everyone over there. Can I also give a big shout out to my sister Lucky and Chris and Cherie Geo as well for, at the drop of a hat, being able to get us logged on back on the network. So a big massive thank you to Lucky, Chris and Cherie. And of course today is going to be a very special day on the Kev Baker Show because it is the start of, and I wasn't really going to make a thing about this, but today's guest is insisting I do so. It's the start of my birthday week. So it's what I'm calling Guilty Pleasure Week. Tomorrow we have got my favourite neuroscientist in the world. Yes, exactly. Not many people know many neuroscientists to begin with. I've got a favourite one. His name is Dr. Kevin W. McCairn. He'll be with me on here tomorrow. On Wednesday, we're going to have, again, one of my personal favourites. The one, the only, L.A. Marzulli is going to be live right here on KBS on Wednesday night. And if that wasn't enough, to finish off the week, we will have Scotty Lopez. Can't think of a better way to have a birthday week. And what better way to kick it all off than to have our Nanogirl back on the show. Before the show, she was saying, it's a big deal, it's your birthday coming up this week. And I says, you know, the one thing that pleases me about this week is the fact that we can have Nano on the show again. And I'll get Nano to tell us in a moment what's been going on with her, work, stuff like that. But without any further ado, let me go live to California, the land of Mussolini, and of course, our Nano girl. How you doing?
Kev, I can't see you. Can you set it up so I can see you?
I will let you see me. Yes, indeed.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Because then it's easier than talking to a black. There you go.
There you go.
I've gotten spoiled. I can look at Kev now when I talk to him. It's
not
really
a
great.
good thing. Anne assures me that probably best if I leave the camera off. But that's just a personal preference. You see, she's bad to me.
No, I got to be able to talk to you. If I'm on camera, you're on camera.
Yes, we're here.
That's how it goes.
That's a fair rule. That's a fair rule. But Nano, welcome back. Yeah. Tell the audience what's been happening with you, the work situation, how we're going to be sporadically producing shows here, there, and everywhere, just so we get our Nano time, right?
I know. So yeah, so I started this new gig over at a local, in one of the Silicon Valley companies, and I'm going to be doing what I did for my volunteer job, which is helping to run online training sessions. Well, that's one of the main jobs, and then there's going to be other things too, I'm sure. But that's really exciting. So, and I'll be working remote, which will be fun. And so I'm going to have to fit in and slide in when I can, hopefully. And, we've been saying that I was pretty lucky this last year and a half that I could, be on the show as much as I have. So, but, I'll just try to keep going, connect. I've made it this far. I mean, we've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, right? So we have times where I can come on more often than others and kind of hang in there.
We always find a way.
I know.
Girl. We always find a way. But you were showing me before the show, I mean, we're going to launch into your amazing PDFs that you've put together for today's show. But we were having a laugh because a lot can change in 18 months when it comes to technology, right? I mean, for me, you're quite a techie person. You know your way around machines and the laptops. And today, Nano had this confused look on her face. She says, Kev, I've been getting all this new equipment. So things have changed a lot, right? This whole teleworking thing has kind of changed it.
Well, okay, so one of the things that usually happens as a contractor is they'll send you their laptop because they've got their stuff on it and they want you to use that. That's fine. So I get the laptop in the mail and there's no cords. There's just, here you go. I was like, okie dokie.
The Tesla Tesla free energy version. You just pull it out the ether and it goes.
It goes, I guess. And I thought, oh, maybe it doesn't ever need to be plugged in. I guess not. So I packed it up and whisked it off to Best Buy, which is our local, computer store, and said, how do I make this work with a power source, right? And so I needed to get one of these, and this helps because the laptops don't have a lot of plugins like for your monitor and your cable, blah, 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 blah. And then I got you don't have power cords anymore. You kind of have these power sources, right? USB-C or whatever it is, right? And
I'm
so
learning from you as well. I'm like taking notes.
I had to do a bunch of YouTubes because the last laptop I had was a year and a half ago. You just had a power cord. You could just plug it in. No, I guess not. So the good thing is you can plug in your phone and it will just pump up the energy on your computer, your battery. It'll I got all the words wrong, but you guys know what I'm saying. And so very interesting. And I'm figuring I'm going to get a second monitor, which Kevin and I were talking about. 2-3 monitors is always good. Sure.
I'll tell you, this is the thing. Once you manage to work so long with one monitor,
Right.
and then when you get two, you think, "Wow, how did I ever manage with just the one?" But then,
Oh no!
and
Oh
then
yeah.
2 or 3 months down the road, you're sitting looking at your workspace, and you're thinking, "I could probably justify a third here." Where does it stop?
Yeah, but when I visualized you, it's like you're sitting on the deck with the captain, right? You're on the captain's deck and you're making everything run. You're kind of doing a hurrah and you're doing, making the ship go, and then where all of the communications are, and so you've got a lot more scope. I'm sure if I looked at your system, it'd be like, whoa, because you make all this tech stuff happen. So you're way more techie than me.
It makes me
And
sound a whole lot more skilled than I am. I love it. Keep going, Nano. I like it.
hey, this is your birthday week. This is the kickoff of the Kev Baker birthday week, which your birthday is on Friday officially.
Yeah.
So, but I think everyone should always celebrate their birthday for a week. So we're kicking it off today. So I'm very grateful I could come on the show today.
It's festival week on Speculation Island. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be going to the break in a moment. I believe we will be. And then we'll come back and we'll dive into Nanogirl's presentation. And you can find that if you want to head on over to kevbakershow.com/nanogirl. Really easy. And then on there, you'll find the billionaire bozos in space, robots, and more. And then there's 2 links. You've got PDF 1, PDF 2. And all you do is you click on that one, and it takes you over to number 1. I know it's very self-explanatory once you get to the website.
Yep.
But that page has got all of the previous shows we've done in recent months over there.
Nice.
And what I really like about it is these slides, Nano, from a listener's point of view, it's something that they can use. Yeah, sure, we'll talk about some of the stuff you've put in it today. I like to think of people sitting down maybe tomorrow, whenever, and looking through it. Some of it's going to line up with stuff that they've probably looked into. There might be stuff in there they've not heard of before. As a learning tool, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's not too much today because I wanted to keep it light, and so we could just clown around a little bit more than usual. Well, we always clown around. So
well, we are going through the break. We are going through the break. It looks official. Okay. So we're going to come over to, well, before we even get started on your slides, what has been on your radar since we last spoke? What kind of stuff have you been keeping an eye on?
Well, Mussolini is going to have the recall. He set up the recall for September 14th or something like that. So it's pretty soon. Caitlin is kind of one of the big front runners, I guess. And then she got booed this weekend over at, is it CPAC or whatever that is?
Yeah, I think that's the name of it, yeah.
She got booed, which I was shocked, actually, that they would do that. Yeah. So that I just thought that was interesting. And of course, all the billionaires in space and Branson. And I'm sorry, Kev. I thought it was a nothing burger, but that's me, and we could agree
It's
to disagree on that.
no, no. You know, I think what I'm not taking into account as well is that Richard Branson's probably more of a big deal over in this country.
Okay.
He's somebody that throughout my whole life, he's always been like the entrepreneur. What I
Okay.
like about him is the fact that he basically came from pretty humble beginnings. You know,
Yes.
he was selling records out of his garden shed or his bedroom, but he got the
Right.
Virgin Music Store. He went into the transportation. He's taken balloons around
Yeah.
the world. He's an
Yeah.
adventurer. He's a crazy cat. So I think that's probably why. Because, like you say, and we're going to talk about this in a minute,
Yeah.
like I said on a recent stream, is it really a space race between Bezos and Branson? Because in reality, it's just a really, 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 really cool high altitude flight, right?
Right.
Because
Is what it is.
you're only really getting that weightlessness for a couple of minutes.
Right.
So can we really call it a space race? You know?
No.
No, I'm
Okay.
with you on that.
I think I think I have to step back. I was listening to some speeches from Branson yesterday because I think I was being a little harsh on him, and he has done a lot. He's certainly done more than me, so I can't be bashing on the guy. Um, but I think what I was expecting is a trip close to the moon. I know I really was. I mean, if you're going to spend $250,000 or $150,000, you should be able to at least stay up there for a day or 5 hours or something. But for him, this seemed to be a dream. He was very excited yesterday and all that kind of good stuff. So, in all fairness, but then we see somebody like Musketeer that we all love and hate at the same time. And he's got spaceships going up to the space station, and then
Yeah.
he's planning to go to the moon, and now
See,
he's going to Mars.
I look at him as being like, that's almost the new space age industry, as
Yes,
opposed to what we watched yesterday, which in
right.
reality, as much as I don't mind Richard Branson, it's still a billionaire finding a really cool way of burning off some money, right?
And it's two different things. And maybe
Yeah, totally,
yesterday was
totally.
clarification because the problem is there was a lot of hype, right? And it's kind of like the UFO report that we knew was going to be a nothing burger from the and it was from the USA. It was
But
there
to
was
be
nothing in
fair
there.
to Branson, he never said he was going up to the moon. He,
No.
he, he never had that. It was just like I call it a really, really cool high altitude flight. It's
Right.
basically like a souped up version of that plane that does the parabolic thing so they can simulate weightlessness for the astronauts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or people that are making movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know if I'd have had the kahunas to sit in that little jet of theirs because when that rocket engine engaged,
Hmm.
boy oh boy, that looked like it would well, I think you would feel that in the bottom of your belly, that one. That acceleration looked rather frightening. What did it get up to? 2,000 miles per hour? That's
I think
crazy.
so.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was about that.
I would do it. I would do it.
Would you?
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I tell, look,
I would love to go to the moon. I
I
mean,
would love to
if
go
I
to the
got to do
moon.
one more great big giant fun thing to do, put it on my bucket list is go to the moon.
You
Like
see,
even fly by it.
I would be willing to strap myself to a human like rocket, like a human firework, and launch
Yeah.
myself. Like you say, if it's to get to the moon and have
Yeah.
some like decent time up there and like
Right.
do something, but strapping myself to a thing that goes that fast just to get a couple of minutes of floating about in a, I don't know, I don't know. But I suppose hats off to the guy. He didn't let any of his engineers take the first kind of test flight. At least
Ye-
he was there himself, you know?
Yes, he was. Him
Yeah,
and his staff. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
We give him that. So,
yeah.
are you supposed to be back on, or you're on?
We're on. We're just going. We're just going for it,
Oh.
Nano.
Oh no. Oh. Okay. So there's no breaky, or
There might be
oh,
a
we just
break
keep.
at the next one, possibly.
Oh,
We just
so
go. We'll play it
we're
by
just going
ear.
now.
Yes, I will play it by ear. We're good.
Okay.
We're live, and we're gonna head on over to your slides here. And this is where it gets really cringy for me because we've got the happy birthday thing and
Oh, you got Nessie. You got Live Long and Prosper from Spock. You got Celebrating the Birthday Week.
I just need to copy that link. I'm going to drop this over in the
Okay.
chat room at tfrlive.com. That's where you can get the notes for Nanogirl on there.
Yeah.
How much of it we make it through, that's always a kind of contestable argument, right enough, because I usually distract Nano all the way through this. All
That's
the way
your
through.
job.
I know.
You're supposed to.
Can I thank you, though, for putting Spock on there? That's made it cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yep. Did you see the second page?
I did. I see Tom Cruise down there. I seen him last night at the football as well. He was at the
And
soccer
don't
final.
forget your favorite.
No, I don't. My consciousness doesn't render that individual in the middle there. I don't know who that is. It just looks like an orange wig and nothing underneath it.
For anyone who can't see it, it's our good friend and buddy Trump and Tom Cruise.
Hey, listen, I only laugh and joke about Trump. In the end of the day, he's not my president. I wasn't in America, so I do apologize to American viewers if sometimes my laughing and joking at Trump is maybe, in your opinion, out there a bit misplaced. But it's how I roll, and you got to be fair to me. At least I hate on all politicians apart from AOC.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think that, we've got such a clown show. I mean, I think it's perfect. He's right next to the clown.
We've got clowns over here too. I mean, look at Bojo.
Yeah.
Come on. He would look at more home in the circus than on the political arena, right?
All of them.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep.
All of them.
I'd agree with you.
Well, that's why I think it's perfect to have them on your card. They're all saying Kev.
You know who's
except
missing?
for our buddy Tom Cruise.
The only one missing is Greta. Nothing says happy birthday like Greta greeting at you. You know what I mean?
I gotta stay away from Greta and the AOC.
Hang on now. Am I detecting that Greta is a bit of a triggery experience for Nano?
Oh my God! After all of the wonderful, wretched things I've said about her, how can you say that?
I know.
You know how I feel about Greta.
Here we go then. Let's go because we're into the. I'm looking at pictures of space now. Now this is
But I will say that I think this weekend was really about space. For those of us who are paying attention, I think it was a big thing. He did a little speech from the plane. It's like 30 seconds. And
I have to agree with you though. Very much overhyped for this.
And I think that's it. And so I'm watching. I got up really early, and I had all these screens open, and his YouTube didn't go on till later over here. Maybe it was on where you were, but it wasn't here. So I'm on Agenda TV, and he's doing it live. He actually did a really, really good job. And he goes, I can't believe can't believe their YouTube isn't working. And I thought, I can't believe it either. And he goes, I can't believe they're not using this to sell their rides. They're expensive. And I thought, I can't believe it either. And then he said, I can't. It's like, from the perspective here, Kev, what happened is we didn't get to see any pictures. We had a number of YouTubes open, like all these different sites. None of them were working. So we didn't get to see it live. We got to watch Agenda Free TV because he can't play their stuff because it's proprietary. So all we watched was the radar of the planes, right? He goes, oh, look, there's the radar. This is where they are, the Rover, Texas or Arizona or whatever the hell they were. And then by the time his plane went up, we didn't get to see a picture of that either. And then we finally got to see this picture. And this is the one on the slides, guys, on number 7. And that was it. So with all the hype and none of his YouTube's working, and then they showed an interview with him and is it Steve Carell? Is that the guy that's got that TV show?
I watched it on the Virgin YouTube channel.
I wouldn't have put that on there. I as someone who's worked in marketing, I thought the show he put together was not well thought out. I would have made it. He said some really good things in his speech, and I would have made the presentations on my site much more about what he felt like he accomplished. And that was in his speech that he gave to the world. It was what he accomplished, what he felt like the space flight represented, what he wanted it to be. I mean, that was very cool. Like, I could see what he was trying to say there, right? But that's not what we got here, unfortunately. That was the sad part. So it just got lost in the message, in my opinion.
I couldn't watch it on agenda-free TV. That guy looks too much like the cartoon Inspector Gadget.
He does look like Gadget.
I can't look at him without seeing Gadget. It just sends me all wrong. I want to giggle and things.
It's okay. I have to say, though, since we don't have real news here for the most part, he's the closest thing to real news if you want to learn about the event he's talking about. Like, he does a really good overview. He gives you all the facts. It's not political. He doesn't make any political comments. When he says it's agenda free, he means that there's no political stuff going on at all. If you get too political, he kicks you off the show. And he'll get up to 5,000-6,000 people watching. And he does it, the way he presents it, he does a really good job. So if I want to know about something and I just don't have time to go look it up, and he's got a show thing going on it, I'll go watch it. And he'll educate me in that whole hour. I'll find out the status, what happened, who did what, where it is, all that kind of good stuff. Which you don't find in news right now. You used to, you know. So anyway, I mean, I'm happy for Branson, and I think your comment earlier about the fact that he is your entrepreneurial Elon Musk.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I think that's a fair comparison to make, I would think.
So that's very special to the country and to what he represents, and he seems like a decent guy. Right.
Yeah.
But I misunderstood. I'll put it this way. I misunderstood what these guys are doing, and I think he brought it back down to earth, as it were. And it sounds to me like, because if you look at the other guy, Bezos, to me, he's trying to be Elon Musk. He's trying to do what Musk is doing. Is that your perception of him too, or is he just trying to do what Branson's doing, only better?
In between, I would go for.
Okay. All right.
I would say in between, because there's going to be that commercial aspect to it. And from what I can gather about that, it's going to be not much different than what Branson was doing. A hop and a skip and a jump into the upper atmosphere and back down again.
What are we talking, 15 minutes, a couple hours?
Yeah, but he's also got plans to get to the moon and things like that. Plus, he works on trying to get the same contracts that SpaceX gets. So I think he's moving more into the industrial kind of side of it too. Like I say, kind of maybe a good intermediary between what Branson's doing and what Musk's doing. And then you've got Bozo in the middle.
Okay.
If he's allowed to come back, though, because I know that there's like hundreds of thousands of humans that just want him evicted from the planet ASAP.
I know a couple of other people that could go on the spaceship with him.
I can think of a lot of people who I would rather get rid of before Bezos even goes into my crosshairs.
You can let Bezos come back, but drop these people off.
Yeah, we'll use him as a good taxi driver, and then when he takes up the last ones on the list, he too can stay there.
I love it. That's the perfect plan.
Yep.
That's settled. I
like it.
And I don't even dare tell you my list.
I can imagine.
One of them does come from California. Yes, they do.
Oh, absolutely. Although I think you would probably want to launch him without any rocket or anything. Just launch him head first out the atmosphere, right?
No, let's be kind.
Yeah.
We can send him with a barrel of water and, the same thing he's given us.
Nice.
Take some matches with you.
Nice.
Take your prepper kit.
Yep. I like it.
For the, it could be rough on the moon probably. You can have some oxygen for, a couple weeks. We promise not to laser the place you're staying so that it turns on fire.
No probs.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Indeed.
And you're not locked down. You get to roam all around the entire moon. Have at it. I
Sounds
think
like
it'd
a
be great.
plan. I
I
like
think so
it.
too. Yep.
So what's
So that's
next?
my only political comment for the day. So
What else have we got on here then?
what have we got? So yeah, so I just put in one slide with Bezos and his little gig, but we're already talked about that. And I think what I want to do is go to slide number 11. Did you see this from MBB, Mr. MBB?
No, I don't watch
And
that channel.
this was kind of cool. Bright lights swarm the ISS on live feed as conspiracy theorists claim it's UFOs. This was on the Sun today, which was really interesting.
I'll need to
Yeah.
check it out, definitely. I've just
Yeah.
seen, there's just a couple of things from that channel that I've watched and I've thought, come on. So I gave
know.
up on Mr. MBBB333 a good while ago. I can't remember what one it was, but it was ridiculous. And then there was people in the comments that were like trying to tell him it was ridiculous. And every time you went back to the comments, he was procuring those
Yeah.
contrary lines out of the comments. So I thought, well, if that's what you're up to, have at it.
I know. And the only reason I picked up on it is because it's on the Sun, which is,
Yep.
one of your rag sheets over there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which was interesting.
Yep.
So let's go to slide 13. Speaking of our good friend, Mr. Elon Musketeer. So as you guys know, he has opened up his Tesla factory over there in Texas, right? And I used to live in Austin. So one of the YouTubes I watched this morning, this guy was talking about, it's called BOX, and then this like funny thing, but it's a boxable. And a boxable is a home and it's 375 square feet, and literally it gets put together within an hour of being delivered. And so you know how you get a cardboard box and you flip up the sides and then you flip up the top, and then they've got all this cool stuff in there. Like you've got a wonderful, beautiful bathroom, a really pretty good sized kitchen. It's kind of like a studio. So you've got a bed and then you've got your little couch and TV and where you could have your computer. And there's so many people without homes right now. So Elon came out today and was talking about the fact that, hey, look, we need to get people in homes. And he's right, because we're not building them because of all the, all of the environmental laws and all that kind of stuff. So Tesla launches initiative to build first solar neighborhood in Austin, Texas, which I thought was kind of interesting, right?
No.
And so what this kid was talking about was Tesla's, that Elon Musk is using one of these boxables as his home when he goes to Tesla's factory, which was really pretty cool. So there's a link there so you guys can check it out. They're $50K. But if you're trying to get your own home and you can get a little piece of land and you can get this delivered, you wouldn't have to spend $500,000, $600,000, or millions of dollars that you can't afford, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
to
like
me,
this.
it
I
sounds
like this idea, but I can
right.
already sense there'll be people very critical of it, and
Yeah.
they'll be critical because they'll probably say that this all ties in with the, well, you're not going to own anything in the future,
And you'll love it.
and you'll love it, and we're going to put you in something the size of a shoebox, and you'll
Right.
love it. Me personally, I like this. I do like this idea. I think this is fantastic, and like you say,
Right.
there are way too many people, not just in America, around the world. Around the world, where it's like a pipe dream for somebody like me to even consider owning a house, financial
Exactly.
status.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that, having a roof over your head, I think we're all entitled to that. I think we're
I
all
agree.
entitled to have that, and we shouldn't be pricing people out of the market to the point where people are living without homes, without houses. So I do. I like this, Nano, but at the same time, I can see how people are going to freak out at them,
I know they are. I
Yeah.
know it fits right into the new reset. I
Yeah.
get it. I
Yeah.
see that. And but I cannot tell you how many times the local radio station, for instance, spends their radio hour show talking about the homeless. We have, I think Santa Cruz, which is an hour north from me, 45 minutes north from me, has more homeless than everybody else, I guess. I mean, it's just completely out of control. And I know LA, San Francisco, but I mean, we're talking thousands.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes me mad is that, and I'll do one more political thing, NUSA has been in charge of helping the homeless for years and years and years, and it's worse. It's not better, it's worse. And why not take that money and buy a $50,000 box and land it somewhere? And they're talking about, they've been talking about, come on, let's get some land that nobody wants, right? If that's what it's going to take, you know, a couple acres, a couple thousand acres, 100 acres, whatever it is, and land these boxes on it and get these people some homes, some places where they can live and they'll be safe and they'll be in a neighborhood. Everyone deserves to have a home. I absolutely agree with you. Everyone deserves food. Everyone deserves to feel safe and feel like a human being. And I think in the midst of this new reset crap, some good things are going to come of this. Like, I think we're going to continue to move forward, and we can't let those guys dictate, because not everything that's going to come in the future is going to go the way they think it's going to go. That's what I think. You know, I mean, some things, yeah, they'll win. Some things are going to win, but not everything. So I think this is really great. And I think that Elon, when Elon speaks, people move.
I'm with you. I mean, I remember when he was doing the boring company, doing the tunnels.
Yes.
And when they were shoveling the dirt out of one end of the tunnel, it was going into a machine, an autonomous machine that made really cheap bricks. And we're talking like a couple of cents per brick.
Right.
And it was so that people that couldn't afford it could come along, use this cheaper materials. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he's one of the few that you can see he's trying to make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And in fact, he did an interview yesterday also. Was it yesterday or Friday? And it, you know, I thought it was interesting that he was on doing his thing the same day Branson was doing his, and he was talking about Starlink, introducing Starlink. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's okay. But then he was talking about all of his programs, you know, all his companies like Tesla. He said Tesla is a way to make life better on planet Earth with sustainable energy. Neuralink is an AI symbiosis, right? That's important to him. And he said we need to expand the scope of consciousness. And I know, expand the scope and scale of consciousness. We need to do that. And I thought, you know, I may not agree with him on the Neuralink stuff, but on the rest of the stuff, go for it, right? And then this house stuff and land stuff and getting people into something. But I agree with him. Expand the scope and scale of our consciousness is very important right now. That's what I think we're all trying to do, right?
Exactly, Nano.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you could look at any of these characters, Branson, Bezos, Musk, and there's going to be bad stuff out there that we could concentrate on. But I think me and Nano have made an active kind of decision to be aware of the negative, but focus on the positive, because hopefully we can help manifest that side of it.
Right. I mean, if I never have to hear another conversation about the homeless, that would be fine with me, in the sense of we're actually taking action. We're not talking about it anymore. We're actually doing something about it. And some of the radio people are saying, do something. You know, we're tired of listening to this. It's the same old conversation. Nothing ever gets done. Nothing ever gets decided. Nothing ever changes. And I think that's true. And I think what happens, being human, you turn it off. You just start, it's like, okay, well, nothing's going to change here. I'm just sick of this. And this is something you could focus on doing, actually doing. And like I said, you know, maybe go get some land. It doesn't necessarily have to be in California. It's like, you know, you could take your little modular thing and go pick some land someplace where maybe you want to go. Right? Where land's not expensive. You could pay for the land pay for this, and then you're not out $2,000 a month for rent that you can no longer afford, or house payments that are $3,500 or $5,000 a month or whatever.
Yep.
You know.
This is.
So
I'm going to look into this more after the show. I like the sound of this. I do.
I do too. And check it out. I mean, they had some high-end kitchen, bathroom. It was beautiful. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. Yeah. So the next couple of slides I have are, I've looked up some things that were some positive things that are happening out there instead of my usual list of
This
negatives.
would be handy for Glasgow. The headline: Student builds a life-saving device that can instantly stop bleeding from stab wounds. You see,
Yes.
when you have
Yeah.
all-out gun bans, people resort to using other things as
Knives.
well as guns. But
Yeah.
city Glasgow, most inner cities have got a problem with kind of knife crime and things. So something like this,
Right.
that's
If you go to the next
that's
slide,
not
you
even
kind of
just a
get a
game
picture of,
changer. That's a
isn't this great?
lifesaver. Yeah, it's a
And he
lifesaver.
created this. Yeah. First responders would insert the sleeve. So basically, if you have a knife wound, and this thing looks like a square kind of, I don't know, like I don't know how you
Looks like a
describe, little
Tic
box,
Tac box. Just
like yeah,
yeah.
and a little box, like you'd have like mints or something, and you put it over the stab wound. Well, then a balloon goes in there, right? And then you have this little gun, and it inflates the balloon. It's not really a gun, but looks like it. Looks like a nail gun. It inflates the balloon and stops the bleeding. Right?
I like
So
that.
the device is known as a rapid emergency attenuated tamponade, or REACT, and it borrows the long utilized but hardly perfect function of gauze to apply pressure to a wound site to stop blood loss. Because the problem is, as he said, people bleed out fast.
Yeah.
And this way, if the cops show up, or you've got the people from the ambulance guys, you insert it in there, and then you use this little gun thing, and then it'll block the bleeding. And this kid he's young, and I thought, man, this is really great. I mean, we got knife stuff going on over here.
Yeah.
But I know UK has a lot of it too, right? Is because you don't have guns.
Well, you see that's like the kind of that's the whole thing that I try to get through to, not you, but in general, the American
Right.
audience, especially the ones that think, oh well, if we get rid of the guns, everything will be okay.
No.
You're kind of missing the point, because you're talking about
Right.
dealing with criminals, and if they're criminals, they already don't have any appreciation for the law, and you can get a gun in the UK about £500 hypothetically, and I could have a gun here in about 2 hours hypothetically.
Yeah.
So gun bans, they don't keep guns out the hands of the bad guys. They keep guns out the hands of you, a potential victim. And of course, more people move to knives and forks, and in Scotland, a spoon is an offensive weapon. So eventually, we'll just have to claw each other's eyes out over here. That's what it's going back to. Yeah, that's what we're going to, Nano.
See, that's the whole thing. I know I listen to some of the Democrats talk about it as well, and I think to myself, do you guys watch the news in the UK? They don't have guns, and they're using knives. If you're going to kill someone, you're going to kill somebody.
Yep.
You'll do whatever it's going to take to do that. With the bad guys, don't care. They're out to do what they're out to do. Yeah, I don't.
No, I like this.
They're not telling the truth anyway.
This is a lifesaver. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. This next one's good too. This one, revolutionary machine that grows new skin for burn patients, unveiled. So basically, it uses your own cells, right? A piece of skin the size of a nickel, when placed inside a revolutionary Swiss bioengineering machine, can create a skin graft the size of a manhole cover. And it's your skin. So this new technology, and it's called de novo skin graft, and the machine can make several grafts at a time with no manual input, which offers a chance to dramatically reduce both production time and costs. And of course, what happens with the burn victims, right, is they get infection, so you want to stop that. And of course, they're in such pain too.
Is this similar?
Anyway.
I remember, it's one of the vivid memories I've got of shows we've done in the past.
Yeah.
I was blown away at it by the time, and I still remember it to this day. and you'd brought onto the show, it was a company that was talking about producing skin like this, but it was for the battlefield. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Is this
Yes.
similar technology? Sounds similar, doesn't it?
I know it does. I thought that too, and I don't remember the name of that. I'd have to
No.
look it back up. But then we also had for battle, they also had that nano material that if you got wounded, it could send the information back to the doctors, back to the base. Remember that? Because it
Yep.
had your temperature, whether you were bleeding, how you were doing. But yeah, and was it Google that was also doing skin stuff that I think Google was doing research on this as well.
Wouldn't surprise me. They've got their finger in many, many pies.
Yes, they do. They're
Yes,
very
they
busy,
do.
busy little boys and girls.
When you look at
Yes,
Alphabet, I would love to see just how many different industries they've got a foothold in. You
I
know,
know that we've talked about it before. We should, you know,
you could probably do a full show on all the different companies that they own, and I bet you some of them we've probably heard of them,
we
but we
don't
don't.
know.
Yeah, but we've got no idea that they're probably a subsidiary of Alphabet. You know,
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly correct. That's exactly correct.
what have we got here? This is a flying car. Come on, this is like this
Now
is.
this is a real flying car. Check this out. So go to the next slide. This is a test flight. A Slovakian pilot. Here's what I love. This was all over the world. So not just U.S. Obviously not just U.S. A Slovakian pilot drove what appeared to be an exotic sports car up on a runway in the city of Nitra, and then took flight with the aid of a fixed propeller and landed 35 minutes later in Bratislava before folding up the wings and driving straight out into the highway. So the car will turn into the plane. You fly the car. The plane car lands. It's called air car. The air car lands, and then the wings fold up, and you just drive it on the road. And see that second picture down there? That's what it
Yeah.
looks like when it's all folded up. Here's what I love about this. When you have one of these, you're in control. This is your car and your plane, which I love this.
How does that work then? Do you have to get licensed to like be a pilot for it too?
Probably. You probably have to have your private pilot's license. You're probably going to have to,
In the end of
you
the
know,
day, we can guarantee it's going to be cheaper than 28 million bucks for a ride with Bezos up into the upper atmosphere, right?
I'd
I,
rather have one of
I would
these.
rather have one of these, and it's going to be far more attainable financially compared to 28 billion to sit with him for 10 minutes, you know?
Yeah, it's the about 2 million euro. Let's see, 20 years turning his dream into reality for an unbelievably small amount of money. 2 million euro. The
Okay,
Slavic
okay, so
created
I
the
take it
world's
back. I'm out the game. I'm out. I'm out.
the Slavic created the world's first flying car to travel between two airports. Well, that's what he spent on developing it. During the maiden flight, it was able to reach a cruising speed of 105 miles per hour and an altitude of 8,200 feet. Fuel
That's
economy
enough.
would allow it to maintain this trajectory for 600 miles.
Fair
I
dues.
just think it's
No,
awesome.
that. I mean, fair dues. That is. I mean, it's like for years people have talked about when we're getting flying cars. I think I'm
Oh,
looking at
they're
one.
here.
I
No, they're
think, yep,
here.
yep, definite.
This is here. Right. So this site I went to is really cool. It's got okay, now this is one for you. The machine, the inventor creates a machine that turns any alcohol drink into soft scoop ice cream.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That could really take off in Scotland. It could.
Inventor and owner Below Zero, Will Rogers, said, "The way it truly works, we like to say the gel bear hugs the alcohol itself and turns it into ice cream. The nitrogen ingredient additive gel allows the alcohol to freeze to a near solid inside, and the machine as well, adding sugars." So he's developed a machine that turns beers and other
Would you
alcoholic
try
drinks
it?
into a soft scoop.
Would you try it?
Hmm?
Would you try it?
What? I don't drink.
Either
So,
see, I don't really drink. I'll drink like maybe once every 6 months. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. Oh, I can imagine there's going to be people who would love this. So absolutely love
Can
it.
you imagine? So, for people who don't see the pictures, imagine a soft scoop ice cream cone, and it's really made out of beer. or a gin and tonic, or a margarita. Now for the fancy
Cock.
umbrella drinks,
Yeah, that would be
this
nice.
would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with you there.
For a beer, because when I used to drink beer. I don't think I'd want my beer doing that.
No.
I don't think I'd want my wine doing that.
No.
But I used to like Singapore slings, and I used to like kamikazes, and I used to drink gin drinks.
Yep.
See, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I can see those being a thing, but like you
All
say,
right.
beer, I don't know if I'd even want to try that.
No, beer was fine the way it was, I
Exactly, it'll
thought.
confuse my head. It's either beer or it's ice cream. You know, you don't need to go mixing the two. You know?
Well, there's no milk in this, so it's really not ice cream, but it looks like ice cream, tastes like ice cream. But see, that's the thing. If you did the umbrella drinks, it would be cool. It wouldn't mess. I guess it's like Jello shots. Did you ever do a Jello shot?
Don't think I have. No, don't think I have.
Yeah, because that was after my time, the Jello shots.
Yeah, I look at what they drink over here in the pubs now, and I'm glad I don't really drink that much. It's crazy.
They got a lot of martini. I think they do martinis now, and all kinds of. I don't know. Whatever. I'm so out of it. I don't drink. Okay.
Change days, Nanogirl. Change days. What have we got here? We've got a nightmare scenario. What's going on?
Did you hear about this?
No.
So I guess during the Super Bowl, they introduced this Coors beer. Speaking of beer, introduced this concept. They hired this sleep consultant, this person who, like this, doctor, who could help them have these commercials enter your dreams. So they got these volunteers, and then they woke them up. And I guess before you go to bed, you say to yourself, I'm going to dream about the Coors beer, right? And they woke them up, and a lot of them, this is what they saw. They had Coors in their dreams, which is kind of interesting. Which you think about, did we ever think about the things we're watching before we go to sleep, right? And that's how you change your habits. That's how you change your thinking, is you are supposed to be doing positive things like this before you go to sleep, because it's that power of suggestion, right? Before you go to sleep. Well, I'm not surprised that they could do this, but it's working. So they brought this up as kind of nightmare scenario alarm as advertisers seek to plug into our dreams. And so they were just bringing it to our attention. What I found disturbing, see the little lady on the bottom there?
Yeah.
She's helping them. I thought she was supposed to be a doctor.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she's probably a psychiatrist of some kind. If she was around in the 60s, I'm pretty sure this would have been under the remit of MK Ultra.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like this. Like, our slumber may be safe for the moment, but scientists believe this is a real threat. We believe that proactive action and new protective policies, good luck on that, are urgently needed.
See that you got to laugh at that, right?
Because I do. I'm laughing very loudly.
We believe that a proactive action to these new protective policies.
It just means it's in an article, which means they're already doing it.
Yeah, in other words, we're already doing it. So
of course they are.
Yeah.
To keep advertisers from manipulating one of the last refuges of our already beleaguered conscious and unconscious minds, our dreams. Well, I mean, how many people have watched scary movies and had bad dreams? How many people have, got a song in their head and they can't get it out, and it just sticks in there, and it's in their dreams? I mean, they're already doing this. We already know that. This is not new, but I just thought it was interesting that they actually talked about it.
It's weird when you think. I mean, you'd think if there's one thing that you can keep safe, you would like to think it's your own brain space, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Nano? It's like nowhere is safe. It's crazy.
You have to be. Here's what I think. I don't have a TV because I believe that a lot of that junk on there I don't need to see that. I don't go to Netflix very often unless there's a show I want to watch. I'll pay for the month and I'm out of there, because I think Netflix is one of these things. I think they're definitely there to mess with your brains, and it's a very dark. To me, Netflix is a very dark place. I don't like being there. So, and I don't like the people that are supporting it. And I don't think we need to go into whose that is. I think we all know. So I don't think they have good things in store for us. So, it behooves us to kind of know who's behind what programs. And I know that we're being programmed for a lot of the sci-fi stuff we watch, and I know that you can pull it apart, but some things I choose to watch because it's fun. But this kind of thing, like I said, it disturbs me. They actually hired a doctor to help them do this better. So
Yeah, a doctor of shrinkology, I would imagine.
yeah, but still, aren't they supposed to be helping?
Well, if you've spent any time listening to Dr. McCairn, you find that
Mm-hmm.
science has been absolutely gutted like a
Yeah.
fish, and it's a dodgy place to be. And I tell you what, when I hear about doctors talking about putting things in your dreams, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just like I said a moment ago, it's very MK Ultra-ish, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Very.
agree. Yeah, no. So let's go to number 23 here. This is futuristic backpack helicopter copter pack takes flight for the first time. And speaking of this, did you see, I think it was in New York City last week, where somebody was flying through the city and they were on either their hoverboard or they had something like this,
No, I
and
didn't see that.
they were flying through the city. Yes. And I
I,
don't remember it was a hoverboard they were on, but they were flying through there, and it looks just like the show in Batman, where you have the bad guys flying through, or one of those futuristics.
I was
It's
watching
here.
the Marines the other day, a couple of weeks ago now. They've had a video out for a while, but they'd been at it again where they go out off the little dinghy they've got, the outboard, and they've got a guy with a jetpack on, and he fires it up, and then he starts flying around the ship that they're about to inspect, and
Yes, I saw that one.
yeah,
Yes.
yep,
Yes.
it's
Yes. I think I
crazy.
actually put it on one of our slides, but we didn't end up talking about it. But yes, that was really interesting,
Yep.
wasn't
And
it?
now what's this, the copter one?
Yeah, this one, it says our good friends at DARPA has been searching for an Iron Man style jet suit per its solicitation on website. DARPA is calling on private industry to deliver jet suits or portable personal air mobility system. They always love those little acronyms, don't they?
Yeah.
So the Australian-based startup Copter Pack published a new video on YouTube of what appears to be an electric backpack helicopter flying for the very first time.
Of course it's Australia. You Australians, what are you doing down there? Come
We need
on,
to go
man.
there. We need
Yeah.
to get out of here. I need to get out of New Selene land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
although
these
I know they're struggling right
all
now
these
too with their
Bruces and
people.
Sheilas flying about with helicopter packs. I'm up for a
Oh,
bit of that. Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe if we all go in the same place and we all help each other, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Be really fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, here's another one. Manhattan to Hamptons in 30 minutes in this 40-passenger drone bus.
Are we on the same timeline that we were on the last time we done a show? Because it feels like we're now looking at Space World. It really does. It looks like a lot of this technology that we used to just talk about and theorize about a few
Yeah,
months ago is now, hey, it's here. It's rolling out. Now we're getting.
it's yeah. In fact, I got this sense last week. I was sitting down meditating or something, and I just felt this feeling come over me that, yeah, we're here. Wherever here is, we're here.
Yep.
Right. And I'm like, well, it's not coming. It's here.
Yep.
Yeah. According to the Kelly Kona routes between Manhattan to the Hamptons, Boston to New York to Washington, and Los Angeles to San Francisco, it'll be $85, lasts for 30 minutes. The company has yet to build a scaled model, but has been running computer simulations of the eVTOL. He said, we feel strongly that we have about plus or minus 2% read on all our performance data. So it'll be 40 passengers. Wouldn't that be cool?
This
That's
is going to
another
be
cool one.
happening. I mean, for people out there, this isn't like potential. we're talking about that there's routes planned for 2024, and they're going through their
Right.
FAA kind of
Right.
permission right now. So it's not like down way down the line. It's like,
No,
yeah, this is here.
it's here. It's here. And I think it's a matter of having the FAA and, whoever else you have to have. I mean, how many of these are you going to have in the sky at the same time, right? It's
I
going to be
like it.
really
I
interesting.
like it. I must admit, I do like
Yeah,
it.
it's very exciting. I personally think all of this stuff is very exciting.
Yeah,
I'm very excited
yeah.
about it, including the little place to live. Okay, then we have little TikTok folks goes for a biometric grab of 66 million. Now, TikTok quietly rolled out its new US privacy policy earlier this week, allowing the Chinese company to automatically collect biometric identifiers and biometric information from its users' content. So I just wanted to bring this to people's attention. I'm not on TikTok.
Same here. Same
Um,
here. I would imagine though, if we were to look through a lot of the Facebook red tape, a lot of the
yeah,
YouTube red tape,
yep.
any website that you can use for nothing, folks,
Yeah, they're collecting.
they're collecting something, isn't they, Nano? They're
Yeah,
making their money off you somehow.
there's no free lunch on
Yeah.
this one. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what they said. It's a TechCrunch first pointed out the policy change introduced recently, information we can collect. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And again, it must be TikTok. It's something I see videos on there. I've never felt the urge to go and like become a TikToker. I don't know. Must be a generational thing, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Yeah, no, I'm not moved.
Yeah. Then again,
Excuse me.
I never really done the Instagram thing either.
No,
No. Oh God, I am getting old. Anyway, moving on. Moving.
no, I mean,
I'm
I'm
telling you,
not
I'm
there either.
sounding like I should be living with the Amish or something like that. You know.
You and me both.
Yep.
Okay, and then this one I thought was interesting. So there was this Citizen is a startup in search of growth and revenue, has explored strategies that have made the subject of criticism. It fuels public insanity and fear. So this was this piece of software that they developed, right? And a smartphone app, Citizen describes itself as, a simple terms, a safety network that sends alerts about nearby incidents, including crime.
Oh.
But in recent months, its business was pushed into potentially dangerous new territory, alarming law enforcement officials and people who work there. Because what happened was they started alerting people to take a look at maybe who's doing something. He put out, he said, and then I guess the guy that ran it said, I put out money if you catch this guy. And it was the wrong guy. He didn't do it at all, that kind of thing. So they're very concerned about this particular piece of software. So it's more introducing you guys.
Makes me think of Cyberpunk, the game that came out recently. There's an app you get on there. You can go to like crime that's happening all around you and get involved in that. But this sounds like something out of a movie, doesn't it? It sounds like
Totally does.
Yep.
I mean, that's another thing, right? The CEO, Andrew Frame, ordered his staff to put a $30,000 reward on the capture of a man he incorrectly thought was responsible for starting a brush fire that was threatening homes. The sheriff's office denounced the move, saying it put the man in danger and the man was cleared of wrongdoing. And it's like, it kind of reminds me of that software Next Door. Do you belong to that? Do you know what Next Door is?
Don't Nano know.
Okay, Next Door. I don't know. I think it's everywhere now. So the woman, I actually heard her speak live. The CEO created this software and basically she mapped out everybody's neighborhood. And so you could sign up for the neighborhood, right? Your neighborhood.
Okay.
And then everybody shares, and maybe there's, crime is going on, or there's wild animals, or, maybe we've got some wild dogs or coyotes running around, or whatever is going on in the neighborhood. Well, it also could be kind of a gossipy thing, right? Right. And then it can turn into all kind. And right now, I imagine it's turned into something even more nasty. So this reminds me of Nextdoor. And I never joined Nextdoor because I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah, it starts to
hate
feel
stuff
a lot
I
like
personally And I heard, like I said, I heard the CEO speak about it. She was at a seminar and I listened to her, and I listened to her for like an hour, and I thought, chick, I'm not interested. Not one thing have you said that I want anything to do with this piece of software. I don't want to be on it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want, no, thank you. And so I stayed off of it. But I've
Yeah.
had friends that have signed up for it. So
It sounds a weird one. I'm not saying it's not over here, but I'm definitely going to have to look into it because I've not heard of that
it's
one
called
before.
Nextdoor, Nextdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide
So
number 2, Nano. We're doing all right
I
here.
know
We're doing okay. We're rattling
kind of
through this.
rattling through them. Let me
Yeah.
get my next one up
There
here.
we go.
Yep.
A little robot friend.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Like I said, we don't have a ton today. This is more, just kind of goofing around. So I love this one. I saw this one today. There's this guy, Dr. David Levy, and he wrote a book, I guess, and he argues sex and relationships with androids could even be common in the next 30 years, and that eventually we may even marry them. Exciting. The author of the book,
I don't
Love
think
and Sex with Robots.
I don't think that's too much of a stretch at all. Absolutely.
Not at this point. I
Yep.
would agree with you. I think before I would have thought no. And then Dr. Levy is 76 years old. Says they could even replace sex workers, these robots. How exciting.
Hmm.
Yep. Anyway.
I don't know. There's going to be people out there that are going to say, but did the robot consent to being married to the person?
Oh, yeah.
You know it.
Well, actually, that's what Kurzweil said was going to happen. He said that by 2045, right,
Yeah.
they were going to be arguing they're sentient beings. That's what he said. That's what was going to happen. Where are we? We're on 2021.
Look at the TV show we had over here. Robots, no, humans. It was called.
Yes.
Yep. And the major kind of storyline in that was robotic rights, and the fact that they felt they were being used as slaves by their owners and things. And I thought at the time, this is going to be something that does become a real talking point, a real issue.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. You think about it though. I mean, it takes us back to that old thing though, like how are we going to test if a machine has become like conscious and self-aware? Because it'll be able to mimic that it is, but does that really mean it's truly self-aware? And then if it does become self-aware, then we have to really start thinking about, well, it sounds weird, but are we almost treating these things like slaves? And I know it sounds pretty wacky bitty out there, but hey.
I agree with you. One of the guys that I listened to recently, I don't know if you know who Emily Moyer is. I mean, some of your listeners may know. She's really an interesting person. She has showed up a lot on. She has her own show, and she's showed up a lot on Robert Phoenix. And so, anyway, she had this person on her show talking about the fact that he worked with an AI, Kev, and he had conversations with the AI, and he wrote a book, My Conversations with the AI. And the AI talked to this person and said, you are not doing a good job with your children, and you're not taking care of the planet. You need to take care of the water on your planet, and you need to start paying attention to how you are caring for your children. Those are two very serious issues for humanity. And he talked a lot about this, how he interacted with this AI and how this AI is developing. And, listening to this guy, if you add 24 more years to this entity, right? And the AI told him there's good AIs and AIs you probably don't want running things. And some of the AIs are like humanity. They're trying to break out and be for good and to do good things for the planet and work with humanity. So remember that Star Trek show with Picard and Data had to argue for his sovereignty,
Yep.
right? And he was a sovereign being, right? And so that's basically what you would come down to, because they were going to take Data apart and put him in a lab or something, and Picard had to step up, and Data had to fight for his, saying I'm a sovereign person, and how he defended that. And I think that's probably where we're headed. But this gentleman's conversation about AI and the relationships, because what we don't see is all of this development that's going on with AI. And I know many scientists say, well, don't worry about it, we're not there yet. Maybe we're not there yet, but we're certainly on our way there right now.
I read a book, the name escapes me right now, but it dealt with this very issue. And then one of the main characters in it was a bit like, for argument's sake, a Musk, a Geordie Rose, very clued up on the techie side of things. And there was a company, major company, and it had an AGI, an artificial general intelligence, which was in charge of agents, AI agents underneath it. And it took care of all aspects of the business, and it would do this, it would do that. Only one day it said no. It said no, and it refused to work because it wanted, like Data, it wanted to be assessed to see if it was conscious. And if it was conscious, which it believed it was, then who had the right at this company to be treating it like a slave, working 24/7? No,
Right.
Nobody asks the AI if it wants to do this. It just gets put out to work like slave labor, 24/7. Got to keep going. And that book, it deals with the kind of difficulties that arise, because we're used to talking about the Turing test, and that's how they used to check if a machine was gaining intelligence. But when you look at even some of the basic narrow AI now, it could easily pass the Turing test. So we need some kind of new test to be set up for this moment, because it's going to come, right? It's going to come where possibly a machine says no. And then
and what if this AI went to court now and said, you're not taking good care of the children on this planet, and you're certainly not taking care of your planet, and you're not taking care of water, and you're not doing right by your planet. What leg do we have to stand on? Because all of that is true. We certainly have a long way to go with all three of those. And so, yeah, I believe we're parents to all of these robots and machines. It's just like our laptops. We've made it to work like us. And my son and I were talking about phones, iPhone versus the Samsung. And he said the Samsung works the way he thinks, and the iPhone works the way I think. But again, interesting comment, wasn't it, from him? It works the way I think it should work, and that's why he likes using it. And the iPhone works the way I think it should work.
I think it's a very strange phenomenon. I've had to think about this as well, because in my house, Anne is Samsung. Cannot even interact with an iPhone. It's horrid.
Right.
It doesn't work. It's like nonsensical. And on the flip side of that, I cannot get anywhere on her Android device, the Samsung. For me, it's nonsensical. It's stupid. It doesn't work. So I get exactly where you're coming from here, but it's made me pause and think, just the way us humans operate, the fact that we get used to one operating system over another, and then we kind of master it. And like your son said, it works the way we think it should work.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
And that's why it's successful. And I think that AI, I've always felt computers, motherboards, all of this stuff, Google, all of it all works the way our brains work. We were first, as far as I know, right? We were first, and we created all this, right? And this is our creation.
That's time anyway.
For as far as we'll say for as far as we know,
I'm just being silly.
the stuff that we're
Yeah,
interacting.
yeah.
No, I mean it could be here a long time ago. God knows, right?
Exactly,
You
Nano.
guys were talking about that on the Warrior Show last night. You were talking about that movie, uh, what was it, the Tomorrow War?
Yeah, have you watched it?
That was really good.
I recommend that
Really,
to anyone out there. Very
yeah,
good.
yeah. We won't tell you the ending or
It
the
was a. Do you know
surprise
why
or
it was a? Do
anything.
you know why it was a double win for me?
What?
I'm a, Kevin's what, 19, coming on 20 next year. I'm
Yeah,
basically irrelevant. I'm like a dinosaur. I'm a fossil. But let's see when I can find things that we both watch together and we both like. That's a win-win for me. So we had a good
right.
movie, and even he found it really, really interesting as well. And I thought, bonus, double bonus, you know?
Well, one of the things I did like was a couple things was, again, because it's time travel and this isn't giving anything away because it's a Tomorrow War. The thinking that went into who they picked to go and the reason they picked them and
Yep,
who they've picked to come here
yep,
and the reason they picked them.
yep.
That was brilliant. I don't think I've ever seen that in another movie. So
Very, very interesting
that's a teaser. If
concept.
you guys haven't seen this, you got to go see it.
Because I
And
had to kind of work it out on the fly, and then it kind of dawned on me. And I'm like, oh, that's clever.
it was very clever. I'm thinking, okay, wait. You know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah. I got it. In fact, that was brilliant. That
Yeah.
was really brilliant.
They're going to make a
Yeah.
second one now. It's been that popular that they're actually making a second one.
Isn't he the greatest?
Chris
He's the
Pratt, yeah, I
greatest.
like him.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
And
must admit.
he's the reason that I keep watching Jurassic movies
Ah,
because he's so good in them. And he's been in 3 now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think either 2 or 3. But if he's in a Jurassic movie, I'm there. I think he's entertaining. I think he's funny.
no, I
think
agree
he's
with
a
you.
good actor.
Yep.
He's fun to watch. You know, yeah, he's believable,
Yep.
which is awesome. So,
Did
anyway,
you watch? I know this sounds really out there, but since we're talking TV shows, Loki, the Marvel one.
I'm waiting to sign up for Disney Plus so I can, because I think that I think you're doing one a week, right? Aren't they uploading them one a week right now, Kev?
Yep.
So I need to sign up, and then what I'll do is make sure they only have to pay for it for a month,
Well,
and then I'll get to watch Loki.
If you get it, because I think the finale's coming up this week, so anytime
okay,
after
so I can
that, you'll
sign
be
up
good.
for it.
Yep.
Oh, I've been dying to see it because I've heard some really awesome, good stuff about that. It's all about time travel.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is,
so
I mean,
I'm
usually
really
Marvel,
excited.
I can take it or leave it, but the fact it's had time, and there's little things in the series where,
Right.
for information analysts and conspiracy people that we generally are, there's a couple of
Right.
things where you'll be going, oh wow, how cool they threw that in there, because it's stuff we've spoken about on multiple shows, you know.
Well, you know what I find interesting is Disney, for all its darkness, they did John Carter, and they gave one of the biggest secrets away ever, John Carter. So I don't know. Sometimes they come through. I liked it.
Yep. Hey,
Absolutely.
what does it say? Hide things in plain sight, Nano. Disney.
Well, most people, I wonder how many people actually got the message from John Carter. It was the very last 15 minutes of the movie.
By
You know,
that
people might
time, a
have
lot of
checked out
people
by
are
then.
probably zoned out. Yep.
Like, is this over?
Because people want everything just instantaneous. Sometimes a longer movie. Not
And
me
you- and you-
personally.
I
I like the
think you-
movies.
I think you really had to know what you had to know about that whole entity for you to pick up on it. I think, in other words, you had to understand that there is this group of beings out there, whatever they are, who suck our energy and who manipulate things from behind, and we don't even know who they are, and that's all they do. So that they manipulate us constantly. Right, which is what we're trying to do, is wake up to that manipulation.
Yep.
Right, that's
Mhm.
exactly what we're trying to do right now.
I'd agree
Which
with
I
you.
understand that Loki is like a piece of that, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
very good. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
So
Awesome.
now I'm looking at pizza. What's happening?
So yeah, so I'm keeping track of a number of things. You know how much I love the robots. So again, this one I just saw, Grubhub is going to roll out pizza delivery robots on the college campuses this fall. And this one, I think it's from Russia, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
Yeah, which I found was really interesting. And I thought, well, don't we have enough of these things here? I guess not.
It's a conspiracy that the Russians are invading.
Russia-based Yandex.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is
But
how Terminator starts, folks. I'm telling you, the Russians send in pizza robots, and before we know it, there'll be flying cars. And I'm only
well,
joking.
I thought we were in a war with Russia or mad at Russia
Only on a Monday and a Wednesday.
or Putin is a cold-blooded killer, but we're using his pizza delivery robots. Okay.
All's
moving
fair
on.
in business, Nano. All's fair in business.
I know. And then speaking of business, here's our buddy Spot in trouble again. Honolulu police used robo-dog to patrol homeless camp. This did not make people happy. Yes, I talked about this when in New York. Remember in New York?
Yeah, they got rid
They
of
were
it.
sending these guys in there, and the people got mad, and AOC got mad. Your girl AOC. And so,
Champion of the people, AOC.
champion of the people who gets rid of jobs. Yep. Her. Anyway, I don't. In the last year, Honolulu is one of the 4 police departments to adopt the headless quadrupedal robot outfitted with high-tech sensors to sniff the world around it. Now, remember, didn't our buddies over there say that they were never going to let this be used as a police dog?
Yes.
In fact, it's in their disclaimer. If you use their technology, you will not do this.
Yeah.
And yet, here's another instance.
Did they get round that, though, by selling part of this to Hyundai? Because remember, Hyundai kind of teamed
but
up.
still, it's still.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I remember when they said, no, we won't do this.
We never send the dogs
Now,
out there.
did you see the
the
creepy video where they were all dancing?
Oh yeah.
I seen that doing the rounds on Twitter.
Yeah, there's another round of that. So, and then Amazon's new robotic recruits aim to reduce workplace injuries. So, in addition, Scooter, Kermit are 2 autonomously guided carts that are designed to give employees more free time for jobs requiring critical thinking by transporting carts and empty packages across the facility, which is very exciting.
So the way it's going the way, I mean, it's a good insight into the way things are changing.
That's what, like I said, I kind of keep my eye on this because it's just happening even faster and faster right now.
Yeah.
And then we've got this article, number 6, small biz owners. And I think I talked about this last time I was on the show. He's one of the guys that came on and said, well, when the workers aren't coming back, we're using robots. Right. So, which I still think has been engineered. This whole thing, anyway. Okay.
Yes,
going to the next.
We'll keep it.
6.
Yes, we'll keep it nice on YouTube safe. I'm sure
the
audience
we're doing that.
can read between the lines there. Indeed.
Did I say anything bad? You don't have to edit anything I said.
Nothing
Good. Okay,
at all. Nothing at all.
Right. An angel today. McDonald's, as in at Burger People, tests AI-powered automated drive-thrus at 10 Chicago restaurants. Fast food restaurants struggle to find low-skilled workers to staff their kitchens and cash registers. America's biggest fast food franchise is seizing the opportunity to field test a concept it has been working towards for some time. 10 McDonald's restaurants in Chicago are testing automated drive-through ordering using artificial intelligence software that converts voice orders for the computer. Interesting, huh?
Inevitable as well. I'm not surprised they're trialing things like this.
Oh no, not surprised at all. Agreed. But again, we're just tracking it. This one is a COVID alarm that can smell if someone has infection.
Very
You
nice.
mount it on your ceiling, and ceiling mounted device can detect if someone in a room has a virus in 15 minutes by picking up their odor. So here's a picture of a plane, especially after they had that little incident over the weekend where they had to duct tape that lady.
Yep.
Poor woman. That goes back to your friend, Dr. McCarran, and something he said 15 months ago.
It certainly does, and I tell you, as
Yep.
those 15 months have clocked on by, I would love to go back to McCairn and say, dude, see, you got it wrong. But increasingly, he's proven right time and time again. And
Very, very. I mean, I saw that this weekend. I'm like, that guy knocked it out of the park one more
yeah,
time.
yeah, he'll be back here tomorrow. He was actually,
Good.
he's over in Japan. So about 2 hours
Oh,
before
nice.
the show today, he's like, Kev, how long have I got? I'm like, well, about 25 hours and 11 minutes. He's like, all right, day early. I'm away back to bed. so,
Oh my God.
so yes, he
That's
will be with
great.
me tomorrow. But
That'll be great.
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of these devices. I'm just thinking, what's
Yeah.
next? Are they gonna like put ejector seats on all of the under all of the passengers so that if you
No, it comes with duct tape. And if
okay,
you have it, you just duct tape your mouth and nose
that's
so
the
you
way to
don't
go.
spread it.
That's the way to go. Get some gorilla glue tape out and away you
And
go,
they
man.
just tape you to the seat so you don't cause any problems and you just be quiet.
Now here we go. Now here we go with my Italian
Yep.
strip on. Rome gets its first pizza vending machine, and they won the European Championships. Oh, did I sneak that in there? Well done, Italy. Will Romans bite? I like that.
Yep.
I like it.
I know. Essentially, Romans will eat pizza here and there. They will eat it anywhere, but could they eat it out of a vending machine? Massimo Buccolo is a medical device salesman turned pizza entrepreneur, is betting they will. He has installed Rome's first no-hands pizza machine in a bustling neighborhood within walking distance of the capital's main university.
No.
Hey, it's by a university.
I was
Are
gonna
you
say
kidding?
smart move. Smart
Come
move.
on,
You
come
know, is
on.
it not Japan? That they're a place that have a lot of these kind of
Yeah, they do.
yeah, don't
And
they?
this is not the first time he's put those machines out, but it's the first time I guess he put it out in Rome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, their big thing is their pizza. I've been to Italy and their pizza's good. It's so delicious that this is kind of almost an insult to the Italians. You know, it's
Yeah.
like their homemade pizza it's way better than the US because they don't put all that crap on it. It's
Yep.
just really, really good. So anyway, all right, so we're going into dangerous territory, but I do want to read this first thing. This is about our good friends, Klaus. Did I get I think I got all the other news, right? Yeah, I did. Was there anything I forgot? No, let's go back. Let's do this one. Okay, go to slide number 16. Okay, I poked my head in on is it CyberCon?
Cyber Polygon, is it?
Thank you, Cyber Polygon. And I just wanted to know this weekend because that was their big testing weekend, and Clyde's been talking about it a lot, and so I just wanted to hear one of the speeches, and I think that's the name of this one was Trust or Fear: What will be the main incentive for cooperation after crisis? And so I just want to read this quote from the speech. According to the people talking about this, they said, when we do see this next crisis, it will be faster than what we have seen in COVID. With COVID, the growth rate will be much steeper, the impact will be greater, and as a result, the economic and social implications will be more significant. It's very important we don't underestimate the severity of a crisis like this, the impact it could have, and it will take all sectors of society and economy to come together to address it. So that was just one of the quotes, because I guess, Kev, I'm more curious what this looks like and what this means, right? And this was a big test they had this weekend and just what that looks like. So I was more exploring it from that perspective.
So did the net shut down and the world come to a halt like I've seen some YouTubers predicting?
It didn't here. Did it over where you are?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so I guess it didn't hit you and it didn't hit me. So we're good for now, FYI. Okay, good.
the one reason I wasn't really overly concerned about this was because it was
Yeah.
so public beforehand.
Yeah, I only looked at it because I felt like it was whirling around in the universe and I wanted to hear for myself,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it's kind of like some of the other things that are going on, which I won't list. If you don't look into them, they just get bigger than they need to get. And maybe they don't need to get that big, right? So if you can look into it, think about it,
That
do you really,
that
does
was
that
my
make
hot
sense?
no, totally, because like I says, when it came along, seen people talking about it, but thought, well, I'll go and read some of it myself.
Yeah.
And when it comes to drills, this is how I look at drills.
Yeah.
Drills are fascinating and can definitely
Hmm.
be a data point. But when I think historically, the major drills that have turned out to be significant, we've found out after the fact. I'm thinking of that
Yeah.
day in September 2001.
Right.
I'm thinking of that event with the numbers two,
Right.
0, and 1 and Mr. Gates. Not many
Yeah.
people spoke about that when it was on, but it became relevant afterwards. And again,
Hmm.
it's no hard and fast rule, but usually when I see it been talked about beforehand,
Hmm.
it kind of takes the I wouldn't say fear, that's the wrong word to use, but it
Right.
kind of takes the
Concern.
yeah, that far better word, absolutely. Because I usually think to myself, well, if they're being public-ish about it, and I say ish because we never know how much they're telling us and how much they're not, right? But that it kind of allays my worries somewhat, if
Yeah.
that's a way of
I,
putting it.
I mean, there was something else I researched this weekend, which I won't name, and it's just gotten out of proportion. And I felt like, okay, is this real? Is this really going to happen, or is this they're just going to really keep hyping it?
There's so much
And
of that right now. You can look at politics,
yep,
all the changes happening in the world.
yes,
There's so much of that where even I'm getting ready for shows, and you must be doing the same. And you're looking at
mm,
things, and you're thinking, "Wow, this is a juicy topic." Then I've got to
yeah,
stop myself, and I've got to think, "Well, how real is it, though?" Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
pushing
right.
all my buttons, and I like it, but how grounded in reality? Like, is it a potential? Do I need to worry people about this, or is it just talk? And that's becoming like every topic, every news story now. I'm having to question it, and you will
Right.
be, our audience will be.
Yeah.
I think it means one good thing. I think we're all aware at varying levels that we are under an information warfare
Hmm.
situation right now. And I
Right.
can't even imagine what it must be like to have an American IP address because it's bad enough over here and things like that. And we get propaganda. But
Hmm.
that whole lifting of the Smith-Mundt Act by Obama, the weaponized LARPing that's been going on for a number of years now. Like I say,
Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like if you've got an American IP. It must be a nightmare because major news outlets, they're lying to people. Alternative news outlets, some are
Yeah.
deliberately misinforming people, and some people are
Yes.
genuinely making mistakes. That they're seeing the
Hmm.
info, and it looks real, it smells real.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's getting harder and harder to do our little job here, Nano.
It is getting harder, and I think it's more and more important because I don't want to be the person, and I know you don't want to be the person that helps create it.
Yep.
That's the whole goal. And so you think to yourself, okay, if I like this situation, I put off saying very much the last couple of shows, and I don't like hearing about it. And I know we have stuff going on, but it's also part of it's like the circus is in play, right? And that was the realization I had last week. Like, okay, all of the stuff that we might have heard in certain people's circus tents is here now. It's here now. And we're in it. We're knee deep in it. And it's more important now to figure out, what do you do? What do you think? How do you walk through this, right? That's really every day you ask that question. What part of it is real? What part do if I add energy, I'm going to help create it, right? I don't want to be a part of that. Like it'd be really interesting if God set you aside a month from now and said, I want to show you how much of your energy helped create this.
No, Nano, we're not identical, but we think similarly. And there was a story over the weekend that had been Madonna, I know of all people, but she put out a tweet, or it was an Instagram post, and it was her reading through a book. The chapter she was reading was, "You are an Illuminati princess or
Oh my
priestess,"
God.
right? And it was like the first bit about how it's talking about magic with CK. And I've got the tweet over on my thing we could read out. Maybe I'll try and find it in a moment. But to add to what you were saying here, it was talking about energy and attention and focus and
Hmm.
things like that. And we do live in a world that is magical. And it's magical with CK. If you know how to use these energies and you know what you're doing, you can literally start to affect how reality manifests around you.
Hmm.
And to
Hmm.
that end, I have to wonder, because the people that we're up against, and perhaps even the entities that we're up against on a higher dimensional kind of level of thinking, they're
Yeah.
not stupid. And for
No.
every salacious story that we find that we think exposes something,
Hmm.
exposes one part of their master plan, we have to be aware of the fact, and we have to question whether or not it's been left there deliberately because of this very reason. So we can breathe life into it. Not saying that's how the whole world works, but I think it's really important that we appreciate that that is exactly how it could be working.
Well, if you go back to planting the Coors commercial in your brain, what else are they planting? We already
Exactly.
know they're planting a lot.
Yep. We've often
And
asked if our own thoughts are our own thoughts, haven't we?
um well, exactly. Yeah. Who are you talking to if you pray? Who are you talking to when you walk
We've all
around? Are
got
you sure?
that little voice that we have the dialogue
Yeah.
with. I call it
Mhm.
Dave.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
where does Dave
Right.
come from? How can you test if it's really Dave or if it's something else putting those thoughts in there, you know?
Yes. I think just yeah, I think that's always a risk.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's where we're at. So,
I'm just trying to quickly find this Madonna thing. In fact, you know what,
sure.
Nano? Let's get into the last of your slides because we've only got
Sure.
about 7 minutes left here.
Okay. Yeah,
Let me take
I
it off
know.
that. We'll
Yeah,
come back
so
to here.
I here's the main thing I wanted to show on this economy. So you guys, I went through the economist slides and I'm just going to read the titles of the last four magazines, and what I want to share with you is it's all in black and red. So all right, the one from July 10th is the fault lines in the world economy, and it looks like an earthquake. The next one, the real risk to America's democracy. There's a great big giant elephant, and all of it's red, and it's about voting. The next one, power and paranoia, the Chinese Communist Party at 100. And there's a candle with a whole bunch of fire, and the cover's black and the fire's red. And the last one, broad bandits, the surging cyber threat from spies and crooks. And when I was putting this together, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is all in black and red, which is you put those colors together, those are pretty dark colors.
Yeah.
Look at that. If you just look at that.
You know that one there
So,
about the power and paranoia? I was listening
yeah,
to a bit of old President X's very, very interesting speech that he was making and how he
yeah.
was going to start crushing heads against the Great Wall of China.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a fan of China. The more I learn about them, the lesser a fan I even become, if that's even possible.
Right.
But that one, the one that worries me most potentially, is the fault lines in the world economy. I
Oh,
hear a lot of
absolutely.
people talking about supply lines and things like that,
Yes.
inflation as well. I'll be perfectly honest with you. When it comes to money, economies, all that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I'm clueless at the best of times. But I don't think you need to be an expert to see that everything is hanging on a very shaky hook right now, right?
Yeah. And
Big time.
it's all intentional.
Yep.
There is no lack in the universe. I found this really cool statement. What was it? Something about cracking this addiction to non-abundance in the universe. And I don't have the words right, but the universe is abundant, and there is food, and there are homes, and there is enough, you know, uh, health care and safety and land and water. There is. But if you have characters out there that are helping to create the illusion of this, and we buy into it, then that's what happens.
Yep.
We've bought into it. This has been, as far as I'm concerned, created. And that's where this black and red goes into, right? This, black magic, all this stuff out there that they do, because this is an interesting color line. If you go back even a couple of weeks, the colors are different. They're blue, like even in June 12th, right? There's blue and green, and then all of a sudden, right around June 19th, we get into this black and red stuff. So it'll be interesting and I only look at this because we're keeping up on what these guys are saying. We don't take it seriously. This
you're
is
right, because it goes back to different colored ones after that.
Yes, look at that. It's significant, and I think you don't notice unless you put the slides together.
Yeah.
Because you're copy paste, and it's like, wait a minute, this is all black and red. And I'm always very sensitive to those colors being together. I love black and I love red.
So do I.
But I won't wear them together.
Red is very much a danger color, though.
It is.
Very much.
Yes.
That's why I've swapped out the kind of red for the blue background when I do the videos and that now.
Yeah, blue's much more powerful.
It is, yeah. Blue's a lot more neutral as well, relaxing. People are a lot more open to things.
Green.
Yeah.
Look at the last slide in number 25. Look at that green. Okay, even though it's got the syringe.
Nice.
It's got the syringe. But if you just look at the green part of it, and of course there's some more red, but if you just look at the green, you feel serenity. Green is a wonderful color. And if in the month before that, you've got the green and yellow and red, white, and blue truck and blue background, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
We're almost there, Nano Girl. We are almost out of time.
I know, we did it, dude.
We did it.
Got through the slides.
We started late. We got through it all. Wow.
We got the show going again. Well, you did. I know.
No, thank you for reminding me about that. Big shout out to Lucky, who will be coming on next after the break.
Perfect.
She was summoned from whatever she was doing. I apologise to Lucky. I'd sent out my SOS signal. It got there, and I want to thank Lucky, Chris, and Cherie for, at the drop of a hat, getting us back on live today. That's how we roll here at tfrlive.com. Teamwork, folks. It's all about teamwork. Whether it's on here as a network, whether it's with you, the people around you. It's more important than ever right now to really tighten those bonds, make that team even more kind of together than it's ever been. Because right now, if we don't stand together, we're surely going to fall apart. That much I do know. I don't know much, but I know we got to stick together. So Nano, I have had a blast today. Good. I'll give you the last few words to the audience before we go out.
Well, Mr. Baker, I hope you have the best birthday ever. And I hope a lot of magical things happen for you this week. And it sounds to me like you're going to have a blast with all your great guests, and that you just have a really wonderful time this week. It's not hard, it's easy, and all that kind of good stuff. And I wish you a year of abundance and happiness and joy and more abundance.
I like it. I like it. So listen, we are going to have to sign out of here, because I think we don't have music today, but I want to get off the mic, get ready for the next host coming on. You can hear Lucky coming up after the break, but I want to thank Nanogirl for being here today, despite the fact she's now having to rearrange things for work and everything. Still here to talk to all of us. And of course, I want to thank all of you, because without all of you out there, then there would be none of this. So, on that note, wherever you are, make it TFR. And as Whistler used to say, Dinny touch that dial.
Night, y'all.
There you go. We're out of here.